Welcome to We Left the Nest with Robert,
and Melissa,
redefining us.
Join us as we share our personal stories of love and loss, navigating hard times, and the joy that comes with growing up together.
Listen in for inspiring and relatable discussions that remind us all of the power of love and resilience in the journey of life.
We'll explore our past and talk about what we've learned over the last 25 years.
We're diving deep into the beautiful chaos of life, including marriage, family, raising kids, and the challenges that come up.
With sprinkles of lighthearted laughter to keep things fun, get comfy while we engage in
Candid conversations with no reservation.
Okay, here we are.
What are we doing?
We're recording another episode of We Left the Nest.
We are?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess.
You may have noticed we have some accessories tonight.
I didn't notice anything.
Oh, so we have some accessories tonight.
Oh, we do?
Mm-hmm.
What do we have?
Well, we have hats, and you have a shirt.
Do you have a shirt?
I have a shirt. It's not a holiday shirt. Well, I guess it can be. Be kind.
Mine says something similar.
Yours says, ask your mom if I'm real.
Santa,
That speaks for itself.
Santa.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
He gets around to everybody's house.
So, anywho, we are actually recording 2 days after Thanksgiving.
All the chimneys, as a matter of fact. Oh, we're moving past this already? All right, fine.
But we're going to be talking about holidays and traditions. And this will be dropping just a couple weeks before Christmas.
Right.
Yeah. So, I first want to start this episode with an apology to you.
I have no idea where this is going. We did not practice this.
That's the point of the whole podcast, right? Candid conversations with no reservation.
Fantastic.
But I think this is a good time because our podcast is about our life and our relationship and kind of the inner workings of our minds and stuff as we go through it. And I
feel like this is going to be
Robert
an apology for something that hasn't even happened yet.
No, that will come later.
Okay.
But this is for something that has happened because when we first got together and we first started decorating for Christmas, it was like probably our biggest fight of the year. Like, we don't really fight, but trying to get a Christmas tree in and straight and all of that was always a challenge for us.
We did not work well together on projects for many, many years.
It took a long time before we really figured it out. And we haven't talked anything about human design yet, but we're both generators, and I'm a sacral authority and you're an emotional authority. So anyway, if you look more into that, it's been a fun ride, and we figured it out now. And I think that we do really well working together.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that 15 years ago.
No.
Or even 10 years ago.
We have come a long way. We've learned a lot. We've grown a lot. We've learned how to work with each other and also how to communicate better. Which is why I owe you an apology, because I did not communicate well with him the other day.
What's this?
I didn't communicate well, and it was Wednesday. I gotten off of work. Was it Wednesday? Was it Tuesday? Anyway, I gotten off of work, and he came over and said that he was going to get all the stuff out for Christmas so we could decorate. Because he loves how happy it makes me to decorate and celebrate the Christmas holiday. And he finds joy in watching my joy. And that's something I've come to find and learn about him. And so he came over ready to decorate because he knew that it would put me in a good mood.
And I wanted it to be done before Thanksgiving so that the whole Thanksgiving weekend it would already be decorated.
Yeah. And when he said that, my sacral authority, which is basically a yes or a no right away, is the way the sacral authority works, was a no. I was like, I don't want to do this. But then I didn't want to disappoint him and make him sad since he was so excited. So I'm like, we'll just do it.
She's still holding my hand. So
a long story short, I'm apologizing. Long story short, I threw a tantrum.
She did do that.
I threw a tantrum when I got very frustrated while I was decorating, putting some decorations up. And I think it hurt your feelings. And I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry, which I did at the time. But I think it's important to talk about these things because I could have sat there and pouted and been upset. But I realized that you had all good intentions and I wasn't good at communicating with you that it probably wasn't a good night for me. And I went along with it. And then...
If she had just said we're not doing it tonight, then we just wouldn't have done it.
And he would have probably been fine with that. But instead, I tried to push through, and it wasn't a good night for me, and I was cranky, and I was mean. And I did apologize at the time. But I wanted to start out talking about that because I think that a lot of times at the holiday season, this is an issue with couples. Probably decorating, setting up. The holidays are fun, but they can also be very stressful. And I think it's important to be aware of our behaviors.
Like how we behave when we try to get a tree into a tree stand with dogs running around at the same time.
And kids. Excited children who want to decorate a tree when they're young. And trying to get it straight.
Great idea.
One of the best investments we ever made was in that tree stand.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? We found a tree stand that would rotate around and then lock in place. So you didn't have to like unscrew it and screw it and unscrew it and screw it to get the live tree to be straight. I think...
Yeah, you would put it in there and then it would just rotate to where you needed it so that it was straight up.
Yeah. And it was great. So I wanted to kind of bring that to light, and I hope you accept my apology again.
I mean, I don't really have a choice. I don't think I'm going anywhere because she threw a tantrum.
I did throw a tantrum.
I do appreciate that she recognizes that I had good intentions.
Absolutely. And I felt like I ruined it for you.
She destroyed my inside.
I feel like I ruined it for you, the experience.
I saw a movie, a Pixar movie, you know, that had all the feelings inside there.
Inside Out?
Yeah, and I'm missing one of those now completely.
Yeah, anger came out for me. Anger and frustration came out for me. And I think that brought sadness out in you. So I just think it's good to bring up, like, let's be aware of, try as you head into the holiday season to remember to just breathe and try to be aware of your feelings and communicate them.
On a good note, though, the house is decorated through Thanksgiving weekend.
It's decorated.
There was just a tiff right there.
And it wasn't even a tiff. It was literally me throwing a tantrum. And he was just quietly packing everything up. After I had a meltdown. And still being supportive, even though I didn't say anything mean. I was just throwing a tantrum.
She went and pouted in a corner.
Stomping and pouting, and then I started crying because I was sad that I hurt your feelings, and it was a whole thing. But I did stop at the time and apologize and continued. I gathered myself, and I continued to decorate. We finished decorating for the most part. And I knew that once I got through it, I would be really happy that when I went to bed that night and came out the next morning, that I would be really happy that it was done. Because it does bring me joy just to have the lights up and the decorations up. It's really my favorite time of year.
I forgot to silence my watch. That was the kids sending more pictures in the group chat.
I didn't silence mine either.
Of their animals.
So,
but we got through it.
We
did.
And
we have everything up. And we have a ladder climbing Santa that can only go down when we're here paying attention.
Yeah.
Because
we have the puppy.
Does not enjoy it. We also don't have Raina right now.
No, we don't have our co-host.
Melissa had made some special frozen treats for the dogs, so we distracted them with those.
For a little while.
We should be interrupted whenever they get done.
Yeah. So, now that that's done,
we can move on.
But I wanted very much to bring that up.
So we're done with Christmas. We're going to go straight to Valentine's Day now.
No. Not done with Christmas. I'm done with my apology.
Oh.
We still have a lot to talk about. Do you hear how much I love Christmas?
I thought we were getting through the holidays right there.
No. We didn't even talk about Thanksgiving. We didn't. So traditions and growing. I feel like in relationships, this is another thing with like unmet expectations. When you get together with somebody, you have a vision in your head of what holidays look like because of what you had growing up, and you kind of expect that to continue. But then when you get together with somebody in a relationship, that may be different, and learning how to split time between families can be hard, and all of that. But originally, when you start these ideas of what traditions look like, it's from your childhood.
Mm-hmm. It's what you knew growing up.
It's what you knew growing up.
And the things you want to pass down to your kids.
Right. That you want them to experience, because you enjoyed it. So
So what is your number one tradition?
For
Christmas.
Christmas time or Thanksgiving? Okay, Christmas.
Okay, well, we'll do Thanksgiving, I guess, first. For Thanksgiving.
Well, Thanksgiving, when I was younger, we would get together at my uncle's house. And I just remember always all the kids playing. So in my family, my mom had children first, so there were 5 of us, and we were all kind of the older generation, still are. And then one of my uncles had a cousin my age. She was born the same year as me, just a few months after. And that was kind of our kids at Thanksgiving time. It was the 5 of us and my cousin. That was it. And we would get together, and my uncle's house was, in my mind, huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you look at it in perspective, it's not a huge house. It's a nice, good sized house. But for us, we came from 800 square feet. So it was like a mansion to us, because I think it was 3 or 4 bedrooms. I don't know. And it was almost like a horseshoe shape. So you walk in the front door.
It was a U shape.
Yeah.
You would go in.
Yeah.
And then the bedrooms were off this way. And then there was the kitchen was over here with the dining room and the garage. And then there was like a bonus room. Hallway down to a bonus room where they would set up with tables.
With all the tables. And I remember it was always exciting because we got to see all our aunts and uncles, and we got to see our cousin. And as we got older and my mom's other brothers and their wives started having kids, there were more little kids around, but they had this closet. It was a split level bedroom, and when you walked in, there was this closet that was like kind of like under the stairs, but not under the stairs. It was weird. I don't know. Like on the side of the stairs. I don't know. But that was like one of our favorite places to like hide.
And that did not change, because once I started coming around, there were other kids that just loved this same spot.
Yeah. I don't know why.
All the generations of kids loved this spot.
Yeah, and then my uncle, he was a veterinarian. He had the fish pond that at some point he put crawdads in. Mm-hmm. And then the kids would go, when our kids were little, they would go and fish for crawdads. And we went there for a few years on Thanksgiving. Once we had kids, then the family just kind of got big, and it was too much.
It was just too much for that house.
It was a lot. And so that was Thanksgiving, and we would always show up in traditional foods: the turkey, the mashed potatoes, the candied yams, green bean casseroles. My mom used to make these, she still does, these sweet bread dinner rolls, crescent rolls. And I think one of my favorite things on Thanksgiving, which isn't going to surprise you, but it's not like just a Thanksgiving thing, but it was at Thanksgiving, it was a tradition to have the bowl of the black olives at the table, and we would put them on our fingers. That was a lot of fun.
I also used to do that.
Yeah, but you don't like olives.
I ate those olives because I was required to.
Because you put them on your hand.
Because I put them on my hand. But I did not like olives. Yeah. I was not a fan of olives, but I was a fan of alien fingertips.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't like a good olive hand, right?
I hate olives as a food.
Right.
But
yeah,
if I had tinier fingers, I would do that to this day.
Yeah. Well, that was our Thanksgiving every year. Was Uncle Steve's house for Thanksgiving, and yeah, Did you do like something?
North Pole.
North Pole. Come on, baby.
I remember, not when I was real young, but when I got older, like 12 and into my teenage years, we would go to the Heller part of the family, and we would play football. I remember that.
Football in the street. Yeah.
We would play football. We would usually go to a park, because there was a park right down the street. Because a lot of the ones I remember, we did them in Dublin.
Okay.
And there was a school which had a big park down the street. And so we would go down there and play.
Okay.
We also did some in the street, but as far as Thanksgiving, I remember going down there and doing that. And I was tall, and I, at the time, was a bit more athletic than I am now.
Yeah.
So, like...
You were always athletic.
I was pretty good, you know?
Yeah. You have
for
those long
a game
arms.
a game of family football.
Catch
there.
crazy throws
So,
and stuff.
That's what I remember. I don't really remember so much the food and other stuff. I remember we played like board games a lot.
Yeah.
But most of the time it was the adults playing board games.
Yeah.
There was one year where we played a lot of chess. Like chess was played at every time, every gathering. People played chess because chess was big in the family.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good at the time. And looking back, I realized how not good I was. Like I was.
Oh, did you have
enough.
people that let you win?
No, nobody let me win.
Okay.
Nobody does that in my family. We don't do the letting people win thing.
Okay. I was just wondering.
But
if you ever experienced that?
No.
Okay.
No, but I had done like tournaments and stuff, and so I was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we started playing, and I beat everybody. And then I got to the final boss, which was the best chess player, and we actually had a draw. And so...
Was that your aunt?
No, it was not my aunt. It was a guy named Carol.
Oh. Was he he was a Heller?
Heller, yeah. He was one of the older, and he was the best chess player at the time. Nice. And I got a draw with him, and it was pretty good.
I don't think
there was like a hierarchy.
Ever played chess?
No, we probably shouldn't.
We shouldn't, because I would probably throw a tantrum.
But then looking back, I realized how good I was for that age was more like I could just think really quickly a few moves ahead, but I didn't really do the whole planning everything out like you would need to do to be really, really good at chess. And
You are a quick thinker.
But I didn't.
You also have good reflexes.
That doesn't matter in chess, you know.
No, I know, but it just made me think
Unless,
about it.
like, I'm playing you and you try to throw a piece at me.
I'm a very clumsy person, and you rescue things quite often. Catch things.
Like you?
Yeah, and me, or things that I'm going to draw up.
But that's what I remember. So it was, you know, we played board games as a family, did a lot of board games, different stuff, a lot of Monopoly, things like that. We play a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, your Monopoly games were crazy. Well, yeah.
And that was Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Thanksgiving was, not as big as Christmas. I think we only ever went to my uncle's house. I don't ever remember going to my dad's side of the family on Thanksgiving. Maybe once or twice. But I really don't remember doing like Thanksgiving with my dad's side. A lot of things we did with my mom's side. We did do Christmas with my dad's side.
Yeah, my dad's side was not much. My grandma lived not that far away, maybe 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And we would go over there. We'd probably spend the night, like the weekend after Christmas or something. Mm-hmm. And then we would get up and do presents and stuff. That's the other thing. There was supposed to be a disclaimer.
Well, we hadn't got to that part, but yeah, disclaimer. Because we're going to be talking about, Christmas and presents and Santa. And so... How
awesome Santa is.
Yeah. Santa, he's brought some pretty cool gifts to me, I remember, through the years. Mm-hmm. And so, just, if you have kids listening, just...
Don't let them listen, because we got secrets about the naughty list and stuff.
Yeah, we don't want to give them any... We don't want to have any spoilers for them before Christmas actually gets here.
Yeah, we don't want to accidentally let the cat out of the bag.
They're fighting over the treats. So, okay.
How you doing there, little lady?
Clip that part out.
Get back up here. Yep,
Come on and settle in. We're just going to cut that part out.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, so we don't want to spoil any...
Don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so...
Little ears.
The little ears should probably not listen for the rest of the episode, just in case...
We say something.
And the next episode.
Yeah, next week as well.
We'll have to do another disclaimer.
So, anywho... So, what were you saying?
What do you mean, what was I saying? You already forgot? You stepped out of the room for 30 seconds and you forgot what we were talking about?
Well, you were saying your grandma lived 30 minutes away and you would go and stay there.
We'd stay there for the night and we'd do presents and that was that.
Yeah.
We got a Nintendo one year.
So
1985. It's fantastic.
For us, we would do Christmas Eve at my grandmother's house on my mom's side. And all my aunts and uncles would be there, and we would have gifts from everybody, and I think they did an adult, gift exchange. And I remember one of my aunts would make gingerbread men for everybody, had their own gingerbread men, and she would decorate them all, and she would put your name on it and, in royal icing.
Why did this tradition stop before I came around?
I think that the family got too big. I think that we just had
how many gingerbread men are you making that you need?
I mean...
You have to stop.
Our family is quite large. So I understand it not being able to continue because I've baked before and I've decorated and it can take a lot to do that. And she had them all individually wrapped in bags and everybody had their name on it. And so I remember she would come and she'd lay them all out on this buffet my grandma had, and then everybody would have to find their cookie with their name. Mm-hmm. So that was always really exciting to go look for your cookie. But there would be spiced cider. My grandma would always make a spiced cider and desserts. And we would just get together and hang out and open gifts and then go home and get ready for bed so that we could wake up in the morning and see what Santa left us. And then I think Christmas Day, we would go to my dad's parents' house. My grandparents on my dad's side. And do Christmas with them. It was a lot different over there because my grandmother wasn't really into kids. Mm-hmm. So I remember just having to be quiet. And I remember before they moved out here to American Canyon, they lived in Albany. And there's a back room that we would all go in and kind of play in. Or if we wanted to sit out in the living room with the adults, we had to sit quietly. So it wasn't as fun as as Christmas Eve with my mom's family because we were just kids. We were just wild, crazy kids. We were the only nieces and nephews besides my, one cousin. So there were just 6 of us and yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of people, a lot of fun. Another thing that we would do around the holidays with just my family, my parents and my brother and my sisters, we would go Christmas light looking. So we would go out and drive around looking at Christmas lights. And at some point, I don't know if it's once we had kids or if it was when I was a kid too. Yeah, it might have been when I was younger. We would go to ice cream afterwards. Mm-hmm. So we would do Christmas light looking and then go to ice cream because ice cream in December seems like a fine idea. Not hot cocoa, ice cream. But it was fun. There's Fenton's. It's a more local ice creamery. It used to only be in Oakland and now there's one in Vacaville. And we would go there and get ice cream and what else? A couple years we did a giving tree where my mom would let us pick names off of a tree and we could get gifts for other children to donate to, I think it's Salvation Army did it. Baking. My mom used to do baking. She still does do baking around the holidays. Yeah. Just all the fun, the music, and just, I feel like in general, this time of year, people are kinder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's something in the air that just, be kind. You know, people are just more kind around the holidays.
What was very kind for us around the holidays was getting ready for Christmas when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When we lived in Oakland, my brother and I shared a room. It was pretty small, you know, but we had bunk beds on one side, and we had a toy box that my dad had built.
Oh.
Did I tell you about this toy box ever?
No.
So this toy box was painted like a dark blue. Like not even a dark blue, but like a blue. It wasn't like a light, it was like your regular blue.
Like just a navy blue?
Yeah, like a blue. Like, but it was a strong blue.
Like this.
And it was...
Navy blue.
It was a little lighter than that.
Okay.
But it was it was made out of plywood.
Well, yeah.
So it was sheets, and I'm pretty sure it was 3/4 inch plywood.
Jeez, that's heavy.
And so the bottom...
Was the lid made out of it?
Yes. The bottom, but I think the lid was made out of 1/2 inch.
Okay.
But the bottom was a sheet of plywood, the whole sheet. And then that's
how big it was?
The front was another sheet of plywood. And then there were the sides, which were a 1/2 sheet each.
This thing was as big as your beds.
The thing was gigantic.
Holy cow.
But to get ready for Christmas,
you had to go through it.
we didn't get to go through it.
Oh. Your mom went through it?
My dad went through it.
Your dad went... Oh, not the dad going through the toy box. Not the dad going through the toy box. No! The dads are not sentimental most of the time. The same way the moms are.
There was a lot of casualties.
Oh, no.
From this situation.
We did this. I did this with our kids every year. We would go through our toys before Christmas and donate. But the dad...
We had a lot of stuff.
Because you were the only grandchildren, too. Yeah. You were. So that's been the same for you. My experience for most of my childhood, and then our children also.
Right, but like that week or two before Christmas, whenever they decided to do it, your heart was ripped out.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
And all of these toys were cold.
Do you remember the, worst one that just got you right in the gut? Where you came in and it was just gone?
I don't.
Oh, I really like that one. Oh.
I remember one time where we had to get the stuff we wanted out, and then there was a bunch of pieces of everything, like stuff, like Legos and all the different types of stuff was in the bottom.
Yeah.
He lifted up the toolbox, dumped it out. Toy box. Dumped it out, swept it all up, and threw it away. All that random stuff.
There could have been G.I. Joe guns in there.
There was all kinds of stuff in there.
There could have been...
It was all gone.
Oh, man. All those toys are ruined.
There were so many toys, though. It really ends up not mattering. But when you're a kid...
That's a big... So, my parents were always finding ways to try to encourage us to clean. Because my mom, obviously, with 5 kids, was frustrated cleaning up after us. And I remember one time my dad had said... there was a threat that said if you don't clean it up or something, I'm throwing all the toys away. I don't remember exactly how that went down, but what I do remember is that he came into our room and we had black trash bags, and he filled all of the trash bags that he had, all of our toys. And even my baby dolls that weren't on the ground, they were on my bed, got put in these trash bags.
Mm-hmm. Are baby dolls an important thing to a little girl?
My baby dolls were real to me.
Okay.
I could see them breathing.
All right.
And I would feed them, and I would take care of them. My baby dolls were the realest baby dolls that ever there were.
Mm.
And when he scooped up my baby dolls and he put them in the black trash bag and put it out in the van, my little world was crushed. And I called my grandma on the phone.
What else would you call her?
I asked my grandma if she would please tell my daddy to rip a hole in the bag so that my baby dolls could breathe.
Because he was suffocating your baby dolls.
They were suffocating in the plastic bag. And I was distraught. And I was traumatized because my poor baby dolls were dying in the plastic bag in the van, and they were going to be cold all night long. And years later, my grandma told me the story from her point of view, and she's like, you know, you called me and you wanted me to rescue your baby dolls, and I knew how important they were to you, but also I didn't want to step on your parents' toes. Like, they had decided this was a consequence for you guys, and I didn't want to interfere, but I also my heart was breaking for you.
Damn it, Grandma.
Oh, she said she got on the phone with my dad and asked if he could just please set them aside and not throw them away. Even if I don't get the back, like, give them to her, and she would keep my baby dolls. And I don't remember I got them back. I don't remember how it all ended, but I just remember being so like almost like I couldn't like, I was panicked that my baby dolls were being suffocated in the back. So I get you on the whole toys.
I never thought my G.I. Joes were suffocating.
Well, your G.I. Joes weren't real, living, breathing baby dolls. Were they?
Snake Eyes is real.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
Everybody watching, if they know who Snake Eyes is, they'll understand.
They will. Okay.
Fine. Anyway.
So, I totally understand that. And yes, getting rid of... That's a rough way to lose toys.
But it was easy to clean our room because you lift the lid on this giant toy box and you throw everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get mad at each other because you kind of had half was yours and half was not yours because I had one brother.
Mm.
Right? So, like, I wanted to keep my stuff nicer on one side because...
I get that.
My little brother was...
Not so good with his stuff.
Not so good with his stuff.
Yeah. I get that. I liked to keep my bed made, and like, I could be messy, but I did like to keep things neater, and I shared...
That's why our bed is always made.
A bedroom. I gave up. The dogs unmake the bed when I make it. They literally go in there and get themselves under the covers, and I come home, even if I've made it, and the covers are all over the ground. So
I just said that to get that
You
reaction.
did. You got me going now. Don't come for me, okay? Don't come for me. Anyway, I did used to like to have nice things and matching things. I remember one year for Christmas.
Used to, so not anymore. Now it doesn't matter.
No, as a child, those things were important to me also. They are important to me now, but then as a child, I remember one year for Christmas, I asked for like a matching bedroom set. A matching bed set with sheets and a comforter and a pillowcase, that it was all matching instead of just like hand me down,
I would never.
That was what I wanted for Christmas.
I would never.
And I got it. Santa brought it for me, and it was so pretty. It was the most delicate little flowers with peach and green. It was beautiful.
What was the thread count?
I probably Kmart thread count.
Okay.
Kmart. Probably
Santa
at that time
Kmart.
a $9.99. Yeah, probably.
This
I
is
don't
why
know.
the kids can't be listening, by the way.
I don't know, but I remember that. And I really, and that year I remember that, and the year I got the bike with the banana seat. I remember those two things. But more than anything, I just remember the magic of Christmas. You know, the idea that, you know, you're going to wake up and there's going to be presents under the tree, and, you know, the whole, you know, the reindeers and the sleigh, and just this magical, mystical belief that there's somebody out there that just loves all the little girls and boys and wants to bring them gifts and cheer and joy. And I just remember that feeling of just that excitement that you, as a kid,
and
get a few
you're
times.
one of those parents who does not do this, because we know
yes,
that
we do know there are parents that choose not to do that.
That is a choice.
But yes, and that's the thing. It's not a right or wrong.
It's a wrong.
Everybody can do what they want to do. They can do what they want to do. But for me,
the magic of Christmas is real, regardless of whether Santa is or not.
Looked forward to that to doing that with our kids, because I just remember just that excitement and that, you know.
There comes a time
the pure
when
joy and innocence of a child at Christmas time is magical.
Do you remember when you got to the age where you said, "I can't believe my parents have done this all these years"?
I think that the first time that I really appreciated what they had done, especially knowing the hardships it was for them, was when I started creating magic for my own children. And, you know, at a certain point when you realize how the magic all works, especially as, you know, a child, and you get to a certain age together, where you figure out how the magic is working and why everything is so magical, and you really appreciate the fact that they created that for you, that was something that they held for you and created for you. And yeah, I mean, there's back and forth right now. There's some people that say, you know, they don't want to give credit where credit isn't due, and some people that still feel like they want, you know, to share that joy.
Santa
and that
can have all that credit. All of it. He can have all the credit. The kids will be little kids. They can believe in Santa. He can have all that credit.
Yeah.
When they get to be adults, they're going to put those puzzle pieces together, and the parents will end up getting all that credit.
Yeah, and even before that, like, you realize even before that,
well,
you know.
When you finally,
but when you actually are doing it, yeah.
No, there's a difference between like realizing what Santa is and the magic of Christmas. Realizing what that is, and then actually realizing how difficult that can be.
Yes.
Especially depending on financial situations, because my parents were very poor.
Right.
Her parents were poor.
Yeah.
We were poor.
Yeah.
And so when the kids get to a certain age, they realize these things, and it hopefully, when the time comes, makes them want to do the same for their kids.
Yeah. I just remembered a lot.
And if they don't, I fucking will.
I still love Christmas.
I will. I meant I will. Sorry.
I don't think I'll ever not love Christmas, but there is something for me that was so special about creating that for our kids. Just so special, just knowing that feeling they were going to have. And we did, I think I added even more traditions just within our own little
The biggest
family.
thing for her, and she doesn't have to agree with this because it doesn't matter. If she doesn't agree, she's wrong. The biggest thing for her is the sheer undertaking that she does with stockings is absolutely absurd.
Absurd?
It is.
That's a rough word.
It is extreme stocking.
Listen, there are people worse than me. I'm just going to say it. I may be extreme.
I'm not saying worse. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
There are people with life-size stockings that they fill and wrap everything inside of them.
The amount of stuff that fits in these stockings is...
They're magic stockings.
These are shocking stockings.
It's the magic of Christmas.
There's some magic going on.
You know how Santa's sack doesn't look that big, but yet all of the gifts for all of the boys and girls in the world fit in there?
Santa's what?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is...
It's the same with my stockings.
Yeah, your stockings are like a clown car.
Exactly. It's magical.
You just keep pulling stuff out of there.
I love it. Yeah. And there's some things that are the same, but some things that are like specifically
now,
just for each person. Now, there's also
some stuff
that's traditional.
So we have a couple of things that you do every year, regardless of age of the kids. You must put these in a stocking. Right? Like Pez containers. Pez dispensers. Sorry, Pez dispensers.
Yes, everybody gets a Pez dispenser.
And those dispensers cannot match.
No, you can't have a duplicate.
Because you don't want somebody to think that somebody else's
And this
Pez
gets
dispenser.
harder the bigger the family gets.
So because currently we have 3 children. However, those 3 children have 3
significant others.
So on our wall there are now
8 stockings.
These are not gang signs, by the way. 8 stockings. Now, she does 7 stockings.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
She absolutely loves stockings. Now, she only does 7 of them.
Yes.
Because her daughter makes sure every year. Your daughter is how old now?
23.
She makes sure. It's also my daughter.
I
could have said that number. I just thought I wanted to ask.
Actually, only started having stuff in my stocking, like when they started working, like when she was like
3 or 4
16,
years
17,
ago,
I think.
3 or 4 years ago, we really picked it up, and they started doing funny things to Melissa's stocking,
which I love.
So one year.
I love it.
One year, they filled her stocking with all the stuff that she usually gets for them. Mm-hmm. So there was a Slinky in there. Uh-huh. There was Silly Putty in there. Uh-huh. There was her own Pez dispenser. Mm-hmm. What else was in there? Probably like a chocolate orange.
We used to do the Lifesaver books.
Oh, yeah,
but the Lifesaver books. Those have gotten so expensive that it would be like $40.
I used to get one every year, and the only thing I remember from this damn Lifesaver book is that there was always an entire 2 rolls of buttered rum.
Yes, the buttered rum. They were so good.
They were okay, but like I want the other flavors. Why do I have to have 2 rolls of this
Because it's a holiday flavor.
Man.
Also, the Lifesaver books used to open up and have 2 on each side.
Oh, no, it was 4 on each side. There were 8 rolls in that like thing.
2.
Yeah, 2 sides.
Right, 2 sides, like a book.
Now it's a scam.
Now it's one book. The part that opens is flat, and there's like 4 rolls inside for $4.69 or something like that. So, it's on principle alone. Unfortunately, because of the times.
That tradition had to be ended.
We've retired. And also, they were very large. They did take up a lot of space, and so.
And space is limited in this magic, wonderful bag of a stocking that can apparently fit everything.
Unlimited room in the stocking. Unlimited room.
Yeah, unlimited.
Unlimited. But because if it does get somewhat full, you can literally just stack stuff around it.
That also happens.
Because they're obviously too heavy to hang on a hook now, so they end up on the couch.
They just happen to be there. That's where Santa leaves them.
Yeah, he leaves them on the couch because he knows that they'll fall off the hooks.
Now, my favorite thing that happened with one of your stockings, maybe you can describe this better. There were some things around the house that started missing. Is this true?
That was the year you guys filled my stocking with things that were mine from around the house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the kids
yeah.
would
swipe. Because we prank, every year we usually have somebody that gets a prank.
Right, and we'll go into that a little bit.
But this was the year I got the prank.
And so the kids spent like a week or so swiping different stuff.
From my room. From the kitchen.
From the bathroom.
I think there was like a spatula.
Because you got a hairbrush, right?
My own hairbrush.
Yeah.
I got my own hairbrush. I don't even know how it happened. And I'm sitting there and they wrapped everything.
And they wrapped it all.
They wrapped all of it.
She's taking it out of the stocking and it's wrapped and she unwraps it.
Yeah.
And it's her like used hairbrush.
It's my actual hairbrush. Yeah.
It might have had her hair in it.
And there were, I think, a picture frame. I don't know. It was just random things that they could get that would fit in there. And then they gave me at the end like the actual stuff that they had gotten. But that was that year.
That was a great year.
They did the same thing last year with gifts from around this house.
Mm-hmm.
They stole them from this house. And on Christmas morning, I opened my own things again. I thought I'd already been through that break, but nope. And it was so funny because the first one I opened, I was like, there's no way they did this again. And it was from like, I think it was from one of the girlfriends. Or so,
From Mylea, I think.
Mylea? Yeah, they each handed me a bag and I opened it and I was like, thanks. I have one of these. And I was like, wait, no, they're not. And then the next thing I opened, when did you guys do this? Like, when did you guys steal this stuff out? Sunday dinner. So, yeah.
Sunday dinner. We do
But
Sunday dinner every
stockings-
week, so they have the opportunity.
I love doing the stockings. That's fun.
So we have a spare room, a guest room over here, and last year, the spare bed is a queen, completely covered with stuff.
Yeah.
The stockings are out there.
I always overdo it.
She then took the time last year to separate everything into separate bags. Separate into separate. She separated everything into bags and put somebody's name on it so that when the night came, the magic would work a lot faster than usual.
Absolutely.
So this was
I'm getting more efficient.
premeditated here.
That's not the first year I've done that.
No.
It wasn't last year.
But I remember a year that it took her like 3 hours.
That was the year I learned that I needed to do this.
She had everything like in a closet or whatever, because
because
we're parents. We had the off-limits closet, right? For Christmas time, you knew that from October on, there was no playing around this closet. Couldn't mess with it. The kids would not go into our closet. They weren't allowed in there.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they weren't allowed in there.
Huh. I remember at the other house we had everything underneath. We locked it down underneath.
Yeah, underneath. But they were too young. Once they got older, you got to really... These guys are sneaky.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'll steal all your stuff and give it back to you.
Yeah. So, we're
It took a long time.
We're gonna wrap this one on up because we're gonna go into next week's episode on the traditions that we created for our kids.
Like the pranking.
And I go more into depth on the stories of those. Oh, there was one year that was so good. Remember what we did to Ethan?
Well, I know what we did.
Oh, it was so good. So, thank you for joining us for this week. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
This has got to be your favorite episode so
This
far.
is my favorite episode. We may do 3 episodes about this.
She loves Christmas more than me.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite time of year. It's a time where you can create magic for anybody. You can send that gift to that friend who hasn't seen you in a long time anonymously, just to bring some joy to their lives. You can write notes to people or send Christmas cards to people that you haven't seen all year, just letting them know how much you appreciate. There's so much you can do, and it's not just this time of year, but it's this time of year that people seem to focus more on that, and it just makes me happy. So, anyway.
All right, we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next week. Or you will catch us.
Like,
subscribe, share. What else do you do? I don't know. Do all those things. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Just, play it over and over.